Hey y'all, I'm Tess Holliday, and welcome to my slumber party. Each week, I'm going to introduce you to folks who are making the world a better place. So put on your pajamas, grab a snack, and let's change the world from our bedroom. Hey y'all, welcome to my slumber party. Thanks for being here. Remember to follow, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts and like and subscribe on YouTube. I am so happy to have y'all hanging out with me, and I want to scream. I already screamed actually before this aired because I get to hang out with actor, writer, activist, and legit distillery owner Kirsten. I should have asked how to say your last name.
It's a hard name.
Vangsness.
No, the whole thing is hard. It's Kirsten Vangsness.
Vangsness.
Yeah,
that sounds like a vampire
and
last name.
Yeah, it sounds like a monster, and it is. It is. And that's me. I'm a monster.
A hot monster.
I know. I'm a hot monster. I kill people with my boobs.
Well, great. You can murder me after. R.I.P.
And so it begins.
So,
Kirsten. Like your ear. Like Kir Royale. Like Kir.
It's like, it's funny because I know who you are, but I can't say your name.
No, it's a hard name. It's a weird name. Kir. You think about your ear. There you go.
Kirsten. So obviously, I know everybody recognizes Kirsten as the FBI technical analyst Penelope Garcia. I know that name.
Yeah, if you watch procedural crime dramas.
Criminal Minds.
That's where Criminal Minds. Yeah.
Criminal Minds, aka my papa, rest in peace, his favorite TV show.
Aww.
I was telling her before that my papa loved you and those big old, you know what? Okay. My friend,
glasses.
So my friend Bobby Lynn is a queer artist in Portland, and I was like sad the other day messaging her, and I also completely am interrupting your intro, but welcome to my life. I was sad, and she was texting me, and she was like, listen, I can't wait to see you soon. I want you to come visit me when I move to New Mexico and bring those big old natural, what did she say? Hold on. Now, wait, what did she call them? Big old naturals.
Big old naturals. Okay.
And she just calls like big old naturals. So it just makes me laugh. So
yeah,
where I was going with this is my grandpa loved you and your big old naturals.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the nicest thing everybody ever said about me.
So before I dig into other things, we're also good. Also, you also own a distillery.
Yep. And it's called the Big Old Natural. No, it's not.
It's called Big Old Naturals.
Yep.
I don't know.
I co-own a distillery, yeah.
I don't know if it's shocking to anyone watching or listening that this is our first time meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel so comfortable because any place that I get to wear, I sleep naked. But the idea of putting on the pajamas that you would wear before you sleep naked, I was like, yes, I will be fine. I actually got out of the valet parking and I'm wearing something pretty short. I mean, you can see. Full disclosure, I'm wearing gender neutral period panties right now. This is not an ad, but I found this company. True story. It's called Isle.
Are you on your period right now?
I'm on my period.
Me too.
Oh, nice.
Wait, what day are you?
I'm day 3.
I'm day 2. Wow.
Yeah, I'm day 3.
We also found out that our birthdays are 2 days apart.
Yeah.
So I apologize in advance, everybody.
Why? This is going to go wonderfully.
It's going to be great.
We're going to be fine.
What were you going to say? You're wearing neutral?
I'm wearing they're boy boxer shorts.
Okay.
And they're period panties, so you can just bleed free. And they're gender neutral. So like if you don't identify as female, I do, but if you don't, you can wear these and then be on your red week and let it go. And anyway, all I'm wearing is a pair of period panties and a see-through nightgown. And I feel, because I'm a theater nerd and I'm a member of Theater of Note 2 blocks down the street, I was like, this just feels like a Wednesday. And usually I've got to go to, when I have to go to like a press thing or something, like you have to look it's sort of like, oh, I get just to be me. That's nice. I live like 5 minutes away, so I just drove here in my nightgown. This is good.
I mean, I love this. And that's what I want when people come and hang out with me. I want it to just be like you're hanging out in your period panties.
Which is exactly what I'm doing right now.
Wow, I love this. I love you already. I can't wait to be smothered by those big naturals.
Oh boy.
So on today's episode, we are going to talk about clearly how anyone can menstruate. No, I'm joking, but they can. We're going to talk about how to multitask in the entertainment industry so that you never lose any part of who you are, why friendship and kindness needs to come first, and how creating community can sometimes mean starting a theater company and maybe sometimes co-owning a distillery.
Maybe, or just being in a theater company. I did not start it.
Well, in a theater company.
I think people do this thing when you get on a thing and people can look at a two-dimensional image of you and they're like, you've made everything. You invented water. And it's like, I'm one person.
Yes.
That gets a lot of, I can cuss.
Yeah.
Fucking attention.
Yeah.
And like, I know all these people, like I'm a member of Theater of Note as an example. I know all these tremendously amazing actors. Some of them don't have their SAG card. They're some of the best actors I've ever worked with in my life. They humble me to be on stage with. But I get this attention of like, So I've been in a theater company that's been around for 30 years and I've been a member for a while. But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But also thanks for saying that. And listen, we as in me and you, but not maybe everyone listening and watching doesn't know that obviously in this industry, there are those of us that get to make it get comfy. I'm going to move around a lot. Go ahead.
There we go.
I'm comfortable now, but in a minute my leg will fall asleep and then I'm going to start moving just like you. But yeah, there's a lot of folks that never get the recognition that they deserve in the entertainment industry. I mean, in a lot of industries in general, but especially entertainment. And especially if you're from a marginalized community or something like that. Yeah. You don't always, and because it's much harder. But I appreciate you saying that.
I feel like we have, at least one privilege that we have just going in is that we're sort of cisgendered white people, right? So we have that but from what I know about you and from what I know about me, we don't have a bunch of other privileges or entryways into our line of work. I certainly did not know anybody and I had no reference of how to get into the business. So I think it's, there is something to be said or something that I always want to remind people of like, you can get wherever you want from where you are and they don't write anything about people that have already made it. They write the story about the waitress working the 3 fucking jobs. The Hobbit is about the guy who's trying to get the ring into, like, he's a nobody. You know what I mean? Like, that's the story. If the story was he already did it. So like you know, now I found that like when Fancy Day Job happened, it's almost like I have to like prove my relevance, my coolness. And like when you're on the journey, you don't have to. You're fucking cool right now. So like anybody right now who's listening, like, I can't pay my rent. I don't. Like there is such a grace and an integrity to your experience and other people know it and you don't. And I don't know why I needed to say that, but I just got the ghost and I had to say that out loud.
I appreciate it, but also you because you're probably, well, I know you're a Cancer weirdo like me, but you know, I pick up on energy and send stuff. And literally last night I deleted Instagram off of my phone and I'm going to take a break because someone told me that basically I'm, you know, listen, people on the internet are full of shit and lie constantly, but sometimes things stick. And someone said to me that I was just having an eating disorder because I no longer had a career. And obviously I know that's not true. And I very much have a career because I'm sitting here with you and your big naturals.
Yep.
But I just was like, excuse me,
but
sir?
I think similar to, I like to think.
So I went down a spiral.
I'm glad you did that. Yeah. And I'm glad that you took that off. And I do believe that Instagram and Twitter and dating and all of that, especially online dating, can be this sort of weird mirror into how my worst fears, my shadow self, my little bits of me that kind of have a sort of an existential kink of thinking like, oh yeah, you're one of the ugly girls or whatever, that gets reflected back at me. So it's like a spiritual practice of these people that come at you. And if you imagine that they're all, and maybe this is true, maybe maybe everybody is just avatars and little spiritual friends that are out there like,
I hope so.
Fucking messing with us so that like we like, upgrade. But like that person who is behaving with such douchebaggery, like that they prompted you to then pull yourself off of Instagram, which is actually a positive thing. Although their behavior was reprehensible, I'm not excusing their behavior.
But also thanks for putting a little cute spin on it because you're right. I very much, after being in the press a bunch the past 2 weeks about something that I didn't really want to talk about to begin with, but chose to, and trust me, we'll get into it.
I think that it's like transparency. If you're, I'm like that, like I come from a real family, like a real mess. Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot about the mandala effect. Do you know what that is?
Oh, I do, because there's literally a TikTok that went viral because people literally believe that I am from England.
Really?
And it's a whole thing. I will send, like, literally, there were thousands of comments of people saying, no, she's from England. And people are like, no, she's from Mississippi. And then, like, I did a video saying, like, you guys know I'm
it's
from
like
Mississippi,
there's
but
this
people
belief,
are convinced.
Right? This belief that there's a blip in the matrix and that people think other things.
Yes.
Well, I've started to be like, well, maybe because my mom and my sister always say sometimes like I make things up and I'm a liar. Maybe instead of just like, okay, I did my healing based on like sexual trauma and things I needed to, whatever, and it's helped me. Maybe there was the mandala effect and they just had a different experience with that person, which sounds bananas, but whatever gets you to God, go there. And this is my new thing that I've been thinking about lately. But like, what was my point in that? Cancers. Since I was a child, when I was like in first grade, my mom said that there are no secrets in your house. And I've always been like that. And my sense is, we don't know each other. We've known each other for minutes. My sense is you're like me, where I have like a demand for authenticity. I have like a demand for transparency. Yes. I can't not. I can't not. I can't.
Yes.
So you were just being authentic. You were just needed the transparency.
Yeah, I can't be anything but authentic. So I appreciate you noticing that and seeing that, because when I choose to share, very, very personal things and people forget that it's a choice that I am choosing to share, I do it very much usually on the whim to the, basically I didn't even tell my team that I was like sharing it before I did. Because I was like, it's not that big of a deal. And then I did it and I was like, oh, well, it's probably a big deal. But I just felt like I needed to.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that people do seem to like train their eyes on people that want to be authentic. And then they can call people out because I think that sometimes people are like, well, I would love to say all the shit that happens to me. Like, you can.
You can.
You totally can.
You can.
Like, you can. And you can actually say it and like feel it and care for yourself and take care of that little part of you that feels unseen.
Yes.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And I think that people get like all riled up and like, you know what I mean? It becomes like a like starvation economy. Like, you can't have that problem.
Yes.
I have that problem, or whatever.
That is okay. I'm putting a pin in this because we actually have a question around this with you in a minute. But I never thought about that with starvation. I want to scream right now. I never thought about this before. Scream. I'm going to. So we obviously, this is a pajama party. This is slumber party. So you kind of discussed your pajamas already. So you for those not watching on YouTube,
I'm wearing a Betsy Johnson nightie that I got on clearance like 20 years ago.
Vintage. I
know. I did accidental, but
I love it.
Victoria's Secret used to sell them, and I used to go to the back, and I used to work at Victoria's Secret, not 20 years ago, but before that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm wearing a bra. It's probably also about 20 years.
I mean, listen, it fits you great.
Well, thank you. And I, because the nightgown is too short.
Yes.
But I really wanted to show off both the gun show and my pandemic armpits, which I'm now all about. And I don't care what job I get from now on. I'm like, this is my world. Hair. And also one side grows less than the other side. So it's like, I'm every woman. And then I'm wearing period panties. And I'm wearing a pair of knee-high socks that have unicorns and narwhals on them.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Other than the armpit hair, my favorite part of this outfit is the unicorn and narwhal situation.
Thank you.
That's when I knew we were going to be friends, truly. Also, I don't really ever shave under my arms, and my friends that aren't quite, feminists or, whatever, sometimes will kind of like pick on me about it. But I'm like, dude, I get ingrown hair. So like, I only shave under my arms if I have to for a job.
I think it's period. And my person is like all about
great.
Because I think it like stores your pheromones. And I will tell you that I don't believe in, that is my deodorant. My deodorant is my pheromones.
You gave me that's how I knew that you were a Cancer, because that hug was, You were never letting me go.
Oh,
when we first met.
I do give in.
And you didn't, there was no funkiness is what I'm saying.
Oh,
so it's clearly working.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
So my pajamas, they're so cute. I haven't, thanks. So this is just like a cozy little pink set. The top is like this wraparound, tie around thing, which I'm sad because when I'm standing up, it's really, really slutty. But when I'm sitting down, not as much.
It's sufficiently slutty.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can tell.
And
slutty, it means like, I can wear something cozy and I still am prepared to bang it out. Yeah.
And I don't have any socks or anything on because I'm trailer trash. But I'm just happy to be here. And then our snacks for today.
I'm trailer trash too. But apparently I have too many scabs on my legs to show you. So I'm not going to show you.
I'm glad you're
I'm half trailer trash because in Porterville, my grandma lived in a trailer on our property and then we had our house. So cross a gravel driveway half the time. In the trailer.
And so I lived behind my grandparents' house.
Oh.
Off of a gravel road in a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Is where I grew up. Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay.
And then please tell everybody what our snack is for today because this really made me want to chef's kiss you.
Thank you. Cream soda and pretzel M&Ms. Yeah. I went for it and I got what I wanted.
So you gave a few choices and I picked the ones that were my favorite out of them.
This is what I wanted. But then I always like to give people like options because I'm just that person. So I was like, what if they don't have it and whatever. And she got the good kind of cream soda, y'all.
You guys, I love cream soda and I love mixing cream soda with alcohol.
Well,
and you have a distillery. We're going to talk about it in a bit. But out of this beautiful
that is what you're staring at. Flip it around. That's our still. It's named after our rescue pet. So it's named Bastion Penelope Coco Frigalicious because of my dog, my rescue dog that I had for 17 years, Bastion, and my rescue cat, Frig, that I had for 17 months because he had a little kitten disease. And then their dogs, Coco and Penelope, my friends. And so the still right there is what you stare at when you're drinking at our bar because we're grain to glass and we're all California organic and we take care of the farmers and we, it's a magical adult Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I love this and I can't wait to visit. And I'm pouring bourbon.
You're going straight with the bourbon. So you're going to have to take the little thing though, when you go home and do the tasting with the rest of them. But the bourbon is pretty fantastic.
I'm only going to put a little bit in.
Yeah. So then you can do the tasting later.
Baby bit.
My favorite bourbon is my baby, meaning it's my favorite baby right now, but I switch around. We also make a orange vodka that I was never like a flavored vodka fan, but we take 150 pounds of Orange County oranges, the peel, the pith, the whole thing, and we soak it in the vodka. It is like, yes.
Do you want any bourbon?
Fuck yeah. It is like Maxwell is playing on the radio and an orange took you on a date to Soarin' over California and then made out with you. That's what the orange vodka tastes like. It's really, really good. But this is...
I didn't mix it because I'm mixing it with my finger. Cheers.
I kind of just wanted you to taste it raw, but do that later. I promise you do it later. It's going to be delicious because it's cream soda and bourbon.
No, but I'm a bourbon snob and this is good.
It's good.
This is really good. Wow. I can't believe that I get to sit in my pajamas and do this on a Monday.
Yeah. Now that I know that, I could have just, I'll bring it. I'll send you a whole bottle of that.
I'm so hyped. I'm so glad I have no career and I can do this, you know?
It's just a moment. Like I could say that about myself right now too. I think everybody's having like a moment. It's just like a quiet. You have to appreciate the quiet before it starts getting loud again.
I have really been appreciating it. So we're going to jump into discussing my week, and that's part of what we were doing a minute ago, believe it or not, you guys. And this happens sometimes when I get a guest where I just vibe with a lot. I go completely off. I'm just unhinged. Just
I love it.
Having so much fun. So as I know that you saw, and we were discussing, so I've been all over, TV the past 2 weeks discussing my eating disorder, and it's been a lot. I was prepared to talk about it. You're never really prepared for kind of what comes with it. But with that being said, there's been a lot of negativity, but it is nowhere in comparison to the support I've gotten from like the medical community around the world, which has been really validating as someone that lives in a larger body.
It makes me so mad. And I go through the same thing. Like I'm not the same thing because everybody's experience is different, but I get talked about, my body gets talked about a lot because I am the size I am, and it is not always the size that a lot of Hollywood actresses are. So people will come up to me at the grocery store and they'll be like, you're fatter than I thought, you're thinner than I thought, you're my size, you're this size. And they project all this stuff on you, right? And
isn't that lovely?
Well, the thing is that I think that because I'm an actor, I'm able to, I don't know, like that's a bullshit thing to say, but what I was going to say is that like, I was in a play before Fancy Day Job, and I remember it was a cool play where women wanted to be that character and they would sort of project themselves on me. And you realize that has nothing to do with me. They're having an experience with a two-dimensional image, and they're putting themselves onto me. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I have let myself be there. And I thought it was super interesting. I can't remember who it was. It was the dominatrix that was on that you were talking to.
Oh, yeah. Maddox.
Yeah, Maddox. I wrote down what she had said to you when I was listening because I was like, that is true. It's true for you. It's true for me. It's true for any woman, especially.
Also, I love that you listen and watch my podcast.
Yeah, well, I hadn't listened. And then I was like, oh, I've been wanting to listen to that. And then I knew it's coming. So then,
you picked a good episode.
I listened to that. And then I started listening. You know what I mean? But I wanted to listen, and that sounds bullshit. Like, no, I wasn't. But then you asked me on, and then I did. That's the transparency. I'm like, I haven't watched them all. I'm just two so far, but I want to watch the rest.
So what did Maddox say that
she
you wrote down?
She said something about how you are putting your heart and your body and your spirit out there to sort of be, this is my words, not hers, because I can't remember exactly, sort of punctured by the world. And you have to be aware of that because you're putting it out there. And like, I think that we do this thing, it's so weird, as like, it's like we've fetishized a smaller bodied female person eating a giant hamburger, eating a thing or belching. But then if you're not a smaller size and you're eating some, like everybody else should, like all these women should be like, quietly in a corner in a shamey way, eating something quickly so that, and you should feel guilty about, like it's that, and there's that wonderful, again, I'm going to paraphrase, but everyone should know this quote. It's from the 70s. I think it's Naomi Wolf. She said that the pursuit of female thinness is not the pursuit of beauty, but is the pursuit of something bad, but I can't remember. It's not the pursuit of thinness. It's not the pursuit of it's the pursuit of control, because a tractable population is a maddening one.
Yep.
And so it wastes your time, so to get it out and just say it and to say like, I'm working on this. It's like, now you've got all this bandwidth to do other things.
That was exactly what I wanted to pick your brain about, was you put yourself out there. You have your YouTube called Kirsten's Agenda.
Kirsten's Agenda. There's a whole other show called Kirsten's Agenda. I hate that bitch.
Kirsten. It's like I go to say Kirsten and I say Kirsten.
I know. That's why I can bust people's chops, because I know I do that with people's names all the time.
What I love is that this is gonna. I'm gonna have to get the people that help edit it, like my team, to just put a blooper reel together of how many times I say your name wrong.
Okay.
So you have your channel where you talk about all kinds of stuff, and this
well, you know what it was during the pandemic. It was purely a pandemic experience, but I did this Kirsten's Agenda because during the last presidency, I felt like we were currently living in a world that was so bizarre and so based on people trying to be like, oh, I'm going to say I'm this, so then I'm this. It was so external. It was so sort of like I woke up like this, like nothing matters about what's inside. And so I couldn't make art, and I'm a playwright and stuff, and I couldn't get it off the ground. So I was like, well, I have this sort of platform, so let's do a show about the census or what representatives do. Or let's have my friend Roxy Hollywood, who is a Black trans woman, on, and we're just going to talk about how she does barbecues with her parents and just talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To just kind of cut through the
noise.
Yeah, just like
and the negativity.
Whatever, because that's the best. And I'll write a song, and that'll be my little creativity. I'll do that every week. And then it turned into this like shit my therapist talks to me about, like the drama triangle. And like I did a whole series about like all that. And it's sort of like me helping me. And I just made up this thing. And I don't know how long I'm going to do it because now it's almost like there's adults in the room again. And I know it's like, we can all say like, oh, politics are stupid and everything's always fucked up. But I truly do believe that the external is all a reflection of our own, collective dream. And we do, I'm sorry, have people now in power in America who have long resumes of dealing with deep problems in state and government and environment and things. So there's more adults in the room and I can relax because I felt like I was like constantly walking around and be like, this guy's not orange. This guy's not orange. This guy's not orange. So when I got to stop doing that, now I feel like, oh, I just want to write. And I want to do a show. Like, so I don't know. But yeah, I did this Kirsten's Agenda thing, which is fun. If you want to know about like, I don't know. I did one. I had my vagina physical therapist.
Love that.
I went on. She's a pelvic floor therapist, and I see her on the regular. And we had a little 10-minute thing about your vagina, and that people should know. When every woman should.
I want to see. I didn't even know that this was a thing.
Girl.
All right. Well, listen.
You should have my vagina physical therapist have Heather Jeffcoat on this because she is amazing.
Once I start pronouncing your name correctly.
Okay.
We'll
talk about vagina.
We'll do that.
Deal.
Just because I feel like it's not fair to poach your vagina physical therapist if I can't say your name.
Yeah. You're only allowed to say big naturals and then boundaries.
And then boundaries. But also, now that we're friends, I need to learn how to say your name as well.
Okay, I'll get there. You'll get there.
Kirsten.
Oh, that's it.
I
that's my name.
second guessed it. Kirsten.
Yeah, that's
I've just been looking at you instead of your big naturals and thinking ear, like you said.
Yeah,
so it's a good ear.
Ear.
Wow, look at me, guys. Are you ready to play a game?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to play 2 truths and a lie.
2 truths and a lie.
I'm going to guess which one is the lie.
Okay.
All right.
I've already told you so many things about me. This is hard.
Kirsten's going to kill it.
Okay. Do I go?
Yeah.
I just tell you all 3 of them?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Also, she took her glasses off for this. So
because here's the thing.
Business.
I'm authentic AF and I have a degree in acting. So I'm a terrible liar, but I can trick myself. And that's what I'm doing right now.
I'm so excited.
How to act as
I can't wait. Great.
I defrosted rats and fed them to snakes.
Okay.
For a day.
Just one day?
No, 2 days.
Okay.
2 days. I have a 12-step evening skincare routine. I'm
so serious right now.
Used to work at a bank.
What I hear from all of those is you and I are the same person because I used to work at a bank as well. I have a 12-step skincare routine as well. But I feel like the one that you are lying about is the 12-step skincare routine.
Oh, she's good. I think I oversold it. I think with the counting of my fingers.
No, you did.
I fucking oversold
It's just
that.
like I'm a skincare junkie. So like 12 steps is a lot of steps.
Okay,
and
the
I was
truth
thinking
is
in my
I
head,
don't wash my face. My skincare routine is you
don't tell that to me. I'm going to cry.
You just sleep.
No.
Since I was a child. I mean, it's really embarrassing. I think I'm protected by I'm going to be 49 on July 7th. And I feel like I am subsiding on a thin layer of dead skin over my entire body. Like a vampire.
First of all, I need to stop my eye twitching from you saying you don't wash your face at nighttime.
Nope.
Second of all,
I not only do it now on my face, I usually just put moisturizer over the dirt.
You
sometimes.
Literally don't look a day over 35. So
And not like, you know what? You can look fucking 102 and it's fine. And you can still be hot and beautiful and whatever.
But I'm just like shocked by that. Wait, so rewind. Can we unpack that first truth, please?
I worked at, the El Dorado Nature Center?
I do.
In Long Beach. I worked there. I worked in the zoo. It was one of the jobs that I quit actually when I got Criminal Minds because I had 3 jobs at the time and I still could not pay my $500 a month apartment because I couldn't get it together. But hey,
here we are.
And I still can't get it together in a lot of departments. So I would, but I also can get it together. And also I've learned that it's okay and no one gets it all together.
It is.
I see you self-deprecating persona that has come out strong during
you
this
and I
podcast.
are the same person. This is horrifying and wonderful.
So I defrosted. I was a vegetarian, then I'm vegan now. And I've been one of those two things for like 24 years or something like that. So it's even more disturbing to have Madagascar cockroaches crawl on you because you've been there. I'm sure you took Bowie there before and stuff.
Yes.
So, and I would defrost the rats to feed them to the snakes. And
I wanted to ask you before the interview because it was one of the questions that I wrote. What would Penelope Garcia wear as pajamas?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. It's weird because when I got the job, when I first went there, they said bring clothes for you because when I remember the costume designer called me and she's like, what size are you? And I said, I'm like a 12, 13, 14, somewhere there. And she's like, well, we won't have anything in your size. And I was like, okay. Wow. She's like, bring your own clothes. So I'm like, okay. Again, I don't have anything. And like literally there was an actress once on, I'm not going to say names and it's no one that anyone knows. But there was an actress in my travels in Criminal Minds that said that they wouldn't stand next to me early on because I wore too many, quote, non-natural fibers. And I remember, and it was like right when I first started the job, I remember going home and be like, what the hell does she mean? And I went through my closet. She was right. She was correct. Because everything I had was like, I was like, this sparkly half shirt that I put together with safety pins, but it's cool because you wear it over this and then you tie it with, and then that's the thing. So that's just how, when I was a kid, we only shopped at the thrift store and my mom would be like, go for it. And like, you just get what you get. So if like I got a nature scene button down man shirt with a cardboard collar and I wear it as a dress, or most of the time I got dresses that were 3 sizes too small for me. And I just fold the back and pretend it was a V back before V backs existed. But like, that's just how it works. So when they said, bring your own clothes, I was like, okay. And I just brought like black stuff because I'm a little on the gothy side. I thought that's fine. Like they'll just, and she was like, what is this? Never wear this. Okay. So they put me in a man's sweater and then just had me do it. And I was like, okay. And then when they brought me back, because I was only supposed to be in that first episode and then they brought me back. So when I went to work that day, they put me in a suit and it was a very nice like suit and it fit me and whatever. It was very exciting. And I remember I was so uncomfortable because you put me in any business clothes, I'm like a cat in a costume. Like I just get so uncomfortable. And so I kept pushing my sleeves up and then be like, oh shit, and put them down again. And then they were like, no, do that. And then I left for work that day and they said, the producers were like, we like what Kirsten was wearing later. And she was like, no, those are her clothes. And then she borrowed some of my clothes because she was like, I think they're going to bring you back. And so I let them use some clothes of mine. So she started to riff on that. So then she was also taking from a girl who worked in the costume department named Veronica at the time. So she was sort of melding, BJ Rogers, the costume designer, was melding us together. But it was weird because I used to dress like, I made up my own things. Like I used to get so bullied when I was a kid that I would just do things to get bullied. So I made my own hat and on the back I wrote, I am a happy idiot. And I would wear these things and they would just be sort of like, nah, like come at me. And then I kind of stopped doing that. Like in high school, I kind of changed a little bit, but then I would still go back to it. Like I would take a bathrobe and wear it. I would just wear these things. And so it was like really natural for me to dress like that. But then when Penelope like stole how I dressed, kind of. And then when that happened, it was weird because I would go to like an event or something like that and I would wear whatever I was going to wear. And I'd be like, wait, I look like her. I don't like it. I don't like that I don't dress like her. I dress like me. And then it caused me. And then also I'm shy, which no one will believe in a million years, but and I'm also an introvert. The pandemic, I was perfectly happy not speaking to anybody. Oh, and by the way, this is a whole side thing that we can't even get into, but I am now madly in love and I'm sticking with it. But I have gone so down every kind of, I could teach a course on online dating and boundaries and how to take care of yourself and how to pick people and how to do things. Like I know all of it. I know every secret.
It's probably a good thing that we met because I can tell you everything. I was kind of seeing someone and it like briefly, that was a friend of mine, and it ended. But I was proud of myself because I deeply care and admire, this person. But I was like, this isn't making me happy.
It's all part of the journey.
Have to, for the first time, instead of putting this other person before myself, which is what I normally do in relationships. But hey, we all know that doesn't work out well for me or anybody. I was like, I need to put myself first. And I FaceTimed with them on the way here and we had a nice talk. Well, I ended it yesterday, but we talked today kind of like properly. And we were able to like laugh and joke. And I'm like, listen, I care about you. I still want you in my life. This isn't making me happy. And I need to like focus on myself. And it was a really healthy breakup. It was cute.
It's nice. And you start rotating through that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, how did I say that from the other thing?
Because we were talking about pajamas.
Being really
Penelope,
shy.
yes.
Like, and people then come up to me and I would be like, oh, I just want to dress a little quieter because then people are going to. And then I sort of came up with however I dress now, which is still like a theater nerd. Like I'm a theater nerd, but we're different. Penelope would wear, God, you fucking asked me a very simple question.
I feel like
now I'm beating myself up because I gave you a long answer.
Listen, this is what I do. This is why sometimes my episodes are 45 minutes and sometimes they're an hour and a half.
Okay.
I think I know what Penelope would wear, but I want you to tell me.
She would wear she would probably wear something cozy.
A unicorn onesie.
Yeah.
Or it's like a onesie.
She'd wear like a
ridiculous
cozy,
onesie.
Like, yeah. She's like cozy. She's more like, I don't think she has a problem like showing her body and stuff like that. That was one of the things I was really proud of with the show is that like there were times, because I'm a woman in Hollywood who would sometimes, which I'm not doing anymore because I am on the road to recovery and I have stopped all the dieting and I am dealing with just this little horse and seeing how this little horse shows up. And I like this little horse.
Love that little horse.
But my weight would move around and it didn't matter where it was. I would, if they were dressing me in a way that made me look bigger, I just let it happen. Like, just put it on and it's not my business because Garcia's not me. And so like sometimes my ego would be like, oh my God, I look so good. I've been working out so hard and I look so good and no one can tell. And it would be like, no, but you still look good because she looks good. Like how she is really, really good. And I feel like that taught me a lesson because how we all show up. I mean, you know this, how you show up right now, how you show up on a magazine, how I show up on TV, how anybody is looking at us right now. You're making judgments about what you think our bodies look like and our bodies are and what they do.
And what they're capable of.
Yeah. And you're like, like I do Pilates, by the way, in West Hollywood too.
Wait, for like you do
10
too?
years. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, we should go together one time.
I've never gone to your thing. I go to my friend. It's like a little private studio.
I'm obsessed.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do hot Pilates and it's private too, but
you do the hot. Yeah, I just do a tiny little studio.
You should come do hot Pilates with me sometime.
I'm scared. I will.
Why? It's 100-degree room, but
that's
it's probably
why I'm scared.
Honestly,
I'll get heat stroke.
It is.
Pass out.
I thought that
like
I was going to
do in Porterville.
Well, I thought I was going to do that or get diarrhea because when I get too hot, I shit myself.
Okay.
I'm single.
Don't let that happen.
Single, by the way. But it's the most invigorating thing I've ever done. My skin has never looked better. My body doesn't ache when I'm done. I am addicted. Like the soreness that I would feel because I mean,
I'll go.
Honestly,
I love it.
It's literally changed my life.
I do love Pilates. I used to have I used to have a very flat body. It was sort of like, and it's so weird because you wouldn't think that because I sort of get told all the time how curvy I am. Yeah. And my butt was totally flat. And so I've been doing Pilates now for like 10 years or something. So I'm not expert, but I'm definitely advanced. Like I can do all kinds of things. And I have like the butt that I will go out of my way. Like I have this one person show I wrote and the costume is like the shortest skirt that I have.
Love it.
And a pair of black panties. Like you will see my butt. Like I will get someone to look at my butt because it's just so fantastic to me. But like you have all these things, these impressions about your body.
Yeah.
And so I like that like people could make this sort of external judgment about this person that I'm playing because it's no one's business, but being out in the world and like here you are. people make all these decisions, and then they make decisions not only capable, but like how your life is, or your happiness level, or your health level, or your energy, or your whatever. Like, and it's like, it's weird. It's just weird. Yeah. You're like, huh, really? Okay. Like,
yeah, it is weird. It's been, even not to like bring the room down, but I do that sometimes just because whatever. I'm very much like you. I'm going to say how I feel. I have no filter. Sometimes my stories are going to take 900 years, but it's going to be a journey and we're going to have fun on the way getting to the end. And that's what we're doing. But as you were talking, I was just thinking like the misconceptions that people have just around people live in marginalized bodies, because there's what people think I am and what my life is like and how I, treat my body is much different than the reality. But it's
and the fact that you would even have to feel the need, which I do understand that, because the society we live in, to prove that, because really at the end of the day, and this is something I saw somewhere and I repeat it to myself, like, it's not anybody's obligation to be healthy or to be pretty or to be whatever.
Absolutely.
It's you're valid. You're valid. Yes. Even you out there, Douchey McDoucherton, who said that mean thing to you on Instagram, you're valid. I don't appreciate your behavior, but everybody's valid. You know, the body is. It just is.
It is.
It just is. There's no moral equivalent or whatever. Yeah. And I'm just saying this out loud, like I know this. I have to repeat it to myself too.
I mean, I do too. And health is not a moral mandate. And that's one thing that with talking about my eating disorder the past 2 weeks, as I was on Good Morning Britain, and they kind of ended it by being like, well, are you healthy now? And I was like, listen, health to me is such a loaded thing, because like, what is health? And also, like, I know people maybe listening or watching might not understand what I'm saying, but it's like no one owes anyone being healthy. And also there are some folks that will never be healthy because of underlying medical conditions or whatever, but that doesn't make them any less valid and any less deserving of love and respect and
when you
all of those things.
When you stick weight together with health, they're just not good. I know that people I can feel it in myself, the resistance of like, no, they are good bedfellows. They're really not. Yeah. They could happen. Something could, whatever. But there's someone I really like, named Isabel Fox and Duke. She's part of all of the Health at Every Size people, but I'm really a big protege of hers. And she's said something one time like, your body's not a purse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not your business.
Yeah.
How your body shows up.
Yes.
It's your business. If you want to take care of it, if you want to be as healthy as you can, do that. And if something happens, cool. But it's not your business. It's not my business what my body chooses to do with energy, and to try to that's a separate thing. If I want to make my body into a purse that looks a certain way, I can do that. I have the right to do that. But this idea that is healthy, that's what healthy is, isn't true. And if, we could talk all day about that.
I mean, this is what a slumber party is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hanging with your friends and talking about all this stuff and eating snacks and hopefully getting drunk. We'll have to do that on our own time.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's also nice to just talk to somebody that works in Hollywood that is aligned with how I feel and how I view the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes I do feel like I got into some glass ceiling, and I'm a total infiltrator and imposter. And that probably sometimes I'm like, I'll never get a job because I don't think like any of them. And I'll never get a job because I keep trying to pull apart the matrix and be like, no, it's like this. Like that's, but these are terrible stories I tell myself. I'll get a job.
Well, I mean, but I do the same. I'm guilty of doing the same exact thing. I love that we just jumped into the interviews. You literally mentioned so many of the things that I was going to ask you about, which is hilarious. So
I'm a little clairvoyant, so I probably just read through the paper.
You did. Well, I mean, I had posted on Twitter, who should I interview? And so many people suggested you.
Thank you, those people.
Thank you. What made you want to do my podcast?
Because it was you. I mean, that's all. Like, truly, that's why. I mean, a lot of times I have stuff I want to promote. I do like some charity stuff I really strongly believe in. And, I deeply care about notes. So when there's things going on where like, a charity that I do, whether it's like Project Angel Food or Alex's Lemonade or, something with the Trevor Project, or when they ask me to do something, you know what I mean? Like, can you go and promote a thingamajig? Like, yeah. But so then sometimes it's cool like that. And then sometimes I'm writing a play and I'll just say yes to anything because I'm like, I want people to come to the play.
Yeah.
And, but this was like, yes. And not only that, but this is actually the first time I have been out in the world. Like I had a panic attack when I was doing the ballet thing.
What?
I didn't know. Since the pandemic. Yeah. I'm being hyperbolic. I went to the Blinking Owl because we're now a restaurant. I went to the Blinking Owl once with my boyfriend. And then I went to the doctor. I went to the vagina physical therapist.
I feel so honored.
But this is the actual, like, I chose to go here and valeting. This is the first time I valeted. So yeah, I just wanted to, because I was like, it's you. Like I could meet you. And then I was panicking. This is my big panic. And I'm so glad. I was panicking about it for a couple of days. I was like, don't meet your heroes. Like, don't meet people because they could be, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you could get there and you're like, oh, there's no there. That's sad. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when I got so excited, I was like, she lives in Long Beach. Oh my God. Like I'm from Long Beach. And like all these different things.
It's the lesbian capital of the United States.
As well it should be.
Yes.
And I think my ex-girlfriend, my ex-fiance lives there, which sometimes I'm afraid to go because I'm afraid that she won't hear this. She won't listen to this. But like I sometimes, there's that person that you're like, I can never see them again because I'm afraid I will actively fall back in love with them.
I do.
And even though we are not good for each other and it is toxic, like and ne'er the two shall, like it's Madrid, like I can't get next to the shiny object. So
that's how, yeah. So we've met and we're in love and it's fine now.
I got to call my boyfriend and just say like, I'm not going to do anything with her. You just need to know that I'm in love unless we break up, in which case it's free for all.
Well, then call me. You know where
deal,
to find
deal,
me.
Deal.
So
we can joke around about it because no one's going to get it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, part of so that's the next thing that I wanted to ask you. So obviously the best part of being queer for me is that what I'm learning through being openly queer, because it's only been I came out publicly in 2018, even though I knew well before that. Obviously, I was in a heteronormative marriage, right. And my ex is queer. And speaking of people that aren't good for you, but that you love, like my ex was so abusive, which I've talked about kind of not in great length because I won't. We have a kid together, but I've shared a bit. But he lives in Australia and I am grateful for that because, it took so long to get away from him. And sometimes I'm like, God, I'm so glad that we are not in the same country.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get pulled back in when things don't serve you, but you're just like, God, it's hard. There are certain people. So you can't come to Long Beach. I can't go to Australia ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I do go because my therapist is in Long Beach. So I do go. But I always am like, am I going to see her? Am I going to see her? And I agree. I know exactly it's weird because I came out, I knew something. And then like right before Criminal Minds, I was like, oh, I'm gay. I was like, I'm gay. I'm not bisexual. I am a lesbian. I get it. I came out to my mom and my sister. They were both like, oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I was with a man at the time. And we sort of went through it together. It was super sad, but it was like, no, we get it. And he's still like my dearest friend and we write scripts together and all kinds of things. But like, then when I fell in love with this woman, I was like, oh, well, yeah, this is just it. And it was weird because I was doing Criminal Minds and I was really careful about like, when we had done like a wrap party, and this is before I was with her, and I invited a friend of mine who was gay and who was very sort of like overtly,
yes,
and I was like, will you go to this wrap party with me? Because that way I can just out myself and it's not a thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. And it's so great. Like she totally took care of me. Like she like went and got drinks and she danced with me and she kept her arm around me. And like, it made me feel so special because I had like a crush on her. So it like made me feel like, oh, and then when I got with the woman we were together, I didn't want it to be like, I was really scared that someone would say like, it's just my own internalized homophobia, which I still deal with. But like, I was like, people are going to think I'm doing it for attention, or people are going to think it's because I had sexual trauma growing up, or people are going to think, oh, because you can't get a guy or whatever. And it's like, you want to pull out a resume on a thing and be like, first of all, she's hot. Second of all, these are all the other hot people I've gone out with. Third of all, here's videos of me having sex with these people. Like, it's like you want to do all that. Fifth of all, here's all the therapy I've gone to. Sixth of all, these are the books I've read. Like, you want to do that to somehow validate, because people are going to project this information on you. And then when we broke up, and then I ended up like dating a guy and then going on some dates with some girls. And every time I dated a guy, I felt like I was letting myself down, letting the world down. Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, it was this whole thing. And
then, don't most people that date cisgender men feel like that though?
Well, and then you meet the one weirdo, like you're weird and and there's a pocket of people, and I'm one of them, like, where you're deviant and you're kind and you're punk rock and you're a little fucked up, but you know it. and I've got demons, but I handle them. And you know what I mean? And they live in here. And like, I met like somebody that's like, but it's weird, exactly to your point. I was having a friend of mine came over, amazing, beautiful, wonderful actress and amazing trainer person, my friend Amy. And Amy Rossoff Davis has just had another child. So they had like 2 kids, and then hit my partner's kid and her husband, and we're in the pool. And I was like, I felt like a weirdo. I was like, it's so like straight people in a pool. Yeah. And it was so weird. And I was like, I need to. And then we went to the zoo, and I was like, straight people at the zoo. And I feel like I'm wearing a little suit, like I'm pretending I'm a straight person. And then my niece got engaged like a week ago, and my sister was taking pictures. I was like, straight people getting engaged. And it's something that I have to validate within myself and remind myself of it. Like, it's okay, whoever you fall in love with, it's okay, whatever you do. And coming out and being who you are. It's like, it can be, you could have never put your face close up at same sex organs in your life. And you can be gay as the day is long. Like, you get to
choose.
Be that, And I think that that's important. But I know exactly what you mean, because I deal with that right now. Like, both, like, I'm never going to be straight. Because, and I'm never going to have straight sex because I'm queer. So there's always a queer person in the room having the sex, and that's me. And so no matter what.
That is a good, that is, I'm glad you said that, because
queer sex and straight sex is entirely different.
Well, I just feel bad for people that have straight
and here's
sex.
the thing. If you have straight sex,
it's great. And
I don't want to, but I'm saying that, like, it's okay. And if you say, hey, wait a minute, maybe then I'm a little queer. You probably are. So good.
Yes. But I just, for me, it's taking the pressure off. And because I'm kind of like newly out, and, when I left my ex, because, he is cisgender, people were like, oh, well, now you're gay all of a sudden. And I'm like, first of all, no. And second of all, I was in a loving relationship with a queer individual for, a good chunk of time. I just don't post my relationships online anymore, because I feel like whoever I end up with or date next or whatever, I'm going to keep it private, just because I don't, until maybe I'm ready. But I mean, don't worry, I'm being out in those streets real gay. I'm being real gay in the streets.
I heard this thing from, was it Alexandra? I'm going to say her last name wrong. Roxio? And she wrote a book called Fuck Like a Goddess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to read it.
I read it during pandemic, so I can't remember all of it. But I remember she said this somewhere, which was, boundaries are like a series of beautiful gates that people get permission to go through. And if they break a boundary, you put them back.
Yep.
You put them back a gate.
Yes.
So like, it's okay to share, and like part of why you're able to do all this for a living and be so visual is that you did share, right? But if someone breaks the gate, and that includes all of the internet, you get to say, you gotta go back and like no, wizard, you shall not pass. Like, you get to do that. Like, and I think that is, because I'm super sherry, as you can tell, but I'm also I've learned how to be super like boundary. Like, people don't get to know, like, you don't get to get close to me unless I let you get close to me. You don't get to know my stuff. You get to know what I've decided you get to know.
Absolutely.
And that's true and real and whatever. But And I think it can be confusing to people when you're this forthright. They assume like, we're best friends. Like, no, we're not.
No, yeah. And it's, and that's why I said, a few times throughout this is that people see what I choose to share and they're only getting like a small part of the picture. They're not getting the full picture and probably never will. And that's fine.
And that's fine because it's not your job, nor is it my job. I can curate how people see me, but I don't control it. You don't control it. I can curate it, but like you get to fucking look at whatever you are, I am, you know what I mean? Because controlling it is just, I can't even do that.
I mean,
like I can't. I would break.
So switching gears for a second, you brought me a gift.
I bring gifts. People have got crushes on. I bring some gifts.
Well, lucky me, because I love giving gifts, but rarely do I receive them. You brought me a gift from your Blinking Out distillery, and I want you to talk about it a little bit. I know you did, but tell me more.
So when I was a starving artist, I needed to go. I had not gone to the gynecologist. You're like, that's not what I asked. That's not the question. But this is the story.
Go ahead. Take me on a journey.
Hadn't gone to the gynecologist and needed to go. And had some trauma that had happened and needed to, and there was like, well, there's this one thing you could do is you could go to a vagina physical therapist. But this is at a time pre-Criminal Minds where it didn't really exist anywhere. And I went to this sports medicine's office and there's a girl and she's got an earring right here and she's got bright pink hair. And we immediately hit it off. And she's got her fingers in pushing against the walls of my business. And we're talking and I'm trying not to cry. And she says, oh, what do you do? And I'm an actor. I was in this Dr. Pepper commercial, but I'm a substitute teacher. And I wrote a show. It's in Santa Ana. And she's like, oh, I live in Santa Ana. Where? And I was like, it's just, and I was doing a play of stuff I had written and I was charging $20 a ticket because I was going to make $10 a ticket because I make money as an actor. So sometimes I made $40. And so she was like, we get done. She's like, you're going to have to come back like 3 times a week. And I said, or 3 times a month. I was like, I can't afford you now. I don't have health insurance. She said, give me tickets to your show and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I give her tickets to the play. Turns out they live across the street from the theater that I was at in Santa Ana. She introduced me to her husband. We become fast friends. Okay. Fast forward, I get fancy day job. I'm on Criminal Minds. I don't know, like 6, 7, 8 years ago. She's like, Brian and I want to start a distillery. And I just read this article about Rupert Grint, who plays Ron Weasley in Harry Potter, and how he learned.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, how he learned how to play the didgeridoo and how to hovercraft. And I was like, you know what? I play the clarinet. So that's my didgeridoo. I don't have a hovercraft. So yeah. Like, I was like, what? I want something cool to be like, because when you say like you're an actor, people make all these things and you want to be like, let me validate why I do more. Like, so I was like, I want to own a distillery. Fuck yeah. And they were like, it costs money. Like, I know. So we built this together and it's been so great because we're like ride or die friends. Like, this is the person that she treated me. She went with me, my friend Robin Christensen that I co-own this place with, Blinking Owl, it's called. She went to my first gynecology appointment with me and like treated me for free before, so I could get, and held my hand as I like disassociated. What I mean? Like she was that person. And so we're like fast friends and they've known me when like I had the car that I would drive to an audition here and I'd be on the 10 and it would just stop because there were like electricity problems.
Yeah.
Like they've known me. So like, and I trust people who have known me for like, those are my people. Too. And so yeah, we've built this great place and I love it because it's in the heart of Santa Ana, right by the water tower. And it's all kinds of people show up there. It's like, you'd never see this in LA. Like it's not that vibe. You get it because you live in Long Beach.
Go.
It's great.
To go.
It's great.
I'm not just saying that.
No, I know. I don't just say things. And it's really, it's great. It's like, it's a really happy place. And,
I love that.
And I love, one of my favorite things is that now I can like all these events that I do stuff for, I'm always like, here's some booze. You need someone to pay for the booze? I got the booze. And it's just a neat thing to know about. And it makes people really happy. And it's really fun. And when we first started, like I got to work behind the bar and like do tastings. I broke too many glasses. So now they don't let me. But yeah, I love it. And you can order it. You can go to the blinkingowldistillery.com and it does ship to most states, I think. If you want.
So if you could make me a drink, what would you make me? You have a lot of
I got one.
Okay.
We came up with one, me and a group of my friends. We were just hanging out at the distillery. It was late at night. and like a group of my like ride or die friends, because I have a group of like 9 of us that like we've known each other since college. Like my friends who like we've just known each other. So we're all hanging out, and one of my friends is like, Brian, because I own a distillery with Robin and Brian. They're like, do you have any pickles? He's like, I think so. So he gets some Cornichons, some like Cornichons. So all it is it's aquavit. Do you know what aquavit is?
I don't. And
I'm going to tell you what aquavit is.
You know me, because first of all, pickles are my favorite. Second of all, I was eyeballing that one.
It's easy. This is like an easy drink too. I want to
scream right now.
Aquavit it's like the gin or the bourbon of like Scandinavian countries.
Okay.
So it's really herbaceous. It's got cardamom, caraway, dill. We put a little hibiscus in this. It makes a really good Bloody Mary. It makes a really good French 75. But what you do is you take this and you take a whole shitload of pickle juice and a couple of pickles and you throw it in there and you drink it. And it's called the short beak. We called it the short beak because he blinking owl. So that would be a good drink.
You might have to call your boyfriend sooner than I thought. Cause wow. That sounds like my my whole body is hot all over right now. I'm fanning myself with cue cards right now. It's that, wow. That sounds delicious.
It's really good.
I am so hyped right now. I went on a really great date with this straight guy, believe it or not. Probably one of the best dates I've ever been on.
Which is a reflection of you and not him, right?
It is, yeah. He's a super nice guy, but he's busy. He's busy like me. He works in music and whatever. So anyways, took me on a date and we went to a whiskey bar in Long Beach that I love. Blind Donkey.
I've never been there.
We have to go. And he asked the bartender, this was like, we had been drinking all night. And this was, I don't know, like maybe not even like 3 weeks ago. Anyway, he goes, do you have any pickle juice? And they were like, no. And I'm like, how are you a whiskey bar with no pickle juice? But when he said that, I was like, you want to fuck? We didn't fuck, but it was, but yeah.
Wow, that would be like,
only because like I was
excited. My inner, like, what? Then what?
Yeah. Anyone that sees me and knows that I love pickle juice has my heart forever.
It's a really good drink.
Listen, God, I feel like we literally talked about everything that I was going to talk about. One thing I did want to mention that we haven't touched on is that you mentioned this a little bit before, is that you have really used your platform to talk about things that matter to you. You've been very vocal about everything that's going on with, the AAP, the AAPI stuff, Black Lives Matter, obviously the LGBT community. So for you, like, what I guess, fuck guys, why did the fucking thought just leave my fucking head?
I kind of know what you mean.
Go ahead.
I believe in every core of my being because and maybe it is because I was one of the people that like, I did not think I was going to get out of the situation I was in. I just thought that's going to be my life. And it was not a good situation. And I was seen like that, right? And and how disempowering that is to not just me, but the whole community, right? We are only as powerful as the least privileged among us.
Yep.
So as a society, when you look around, and I think that for all of us, you would be a liar and I would be a liar if I didn't say the word privilege. It starts you up. Notice Absolutely. I even had to start that conversation with being like, I had a hard time. So like, I think that like all of us have to like, it's like, but there are privileges. There's just privileges that I have, that you have, that I don't have, that you do have, vice versa. Like all kinds of things, you know what I mean? That people have. And I am interested in, because I have believed in starvation economy, because I have, because I live inside my body. And so everybody is sexist and racist and a homophobe and all that. So I have to deal with that on the regular inside of my own inner environment. And I'm fascinated by all the plays I write are about like inner experience, external. So like that is a big thing. And I feel like right now, especially, we live in a world where where the sea change is happening, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing, but it can be really scary because it's changing the system. And I just think that like being part of the community to help, I mean, it's selfish. It's not like altruistic. Yeah, I think I'm kind and shit and whatever, but I'm not kind and shit because I like it's the funner way to be. You know what I mean? That's all. So like it's like you push against the things because you can, because I can. And I'm doing it for me because my own white supremacy is a sickness in which I need to weed out. Like it's a constant, pulling of the weeds. And it's weird because I've come up against with myself. Like I wrote this play a couple of years ago and we took it to Edinburgh and it's the comic book that I gave you is it's the first 2 scenes of that play. And I'm going to I'm in the process of pulling it back up because it's about, you're only privileged as the least privileged among us. It's about a white girl who goes, it's this one white woman who's living in present day and a woman in the future where femininity has been decimated that was played by a guy. So he playing this woman, Glock from the future, comes back because all of the universe is going to be destroyed because femininity, the expansion, the ability to receive has been just taken over by the masculine energy. So he comes back and he takes this woman and he pulls her through time and she meets Theodora of the Byzantine Empire, who was a prostitute who married this guy, and she did all this amazing stuff for women and children laws, and Wu Zetian in China, and Cleopatra. And it was really interesting as I wrote it. Like I originally wanted to be Cleopatra, so I wrote this really cool Cleopatra part. We were reading it at Theater of Note, and one of the actors at Note, Pamela, came up to me and she was angry. She was like, "You made her white," and I was like, "What?" And then I had to be like, "Shit. Oh, fuck, I did. I made her fucking like Liz Taylor. Like I was, and then I had to go back and wait, I think this is what it's about. You've got there is this Cleopatra 7 who was this Greek Cleopatra and all the other Cleopatras before that built the libraries, that did all this stuff. No history, but Cleopatra, and so I was like, well, it's about these 2 Cleopatras. So I made a Cleopatra 17 and a Cleopatra 1, and the Cleopatra 1 is the Black Cleopatra who did all the things. And so we had a conversation, but we all built this show together.
Wow.
And basically about okay, if you don't value your face on money, if you don't value being put on a statue, if you've been taught that your anger is terrifying even to yourself, how do you keep passivity and vulnerability safe in a world that is all about arrows and get it? Yeah. How do you even do that? What do you do? And we all were making it together, and it was weird because I felt like it was such an important thing, and women were coming, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But also it was right before its time, and it was weird when I was doing it because someone was like, that lead part should have been a Black woman. And it shouldn't have made it you. You should have made it someone else that's not white. And I was like, yeah, but then you're but I wrote it and I get a part because I wrote it. But then there was this other bit of but it is my job because I have that privilege.
Yes.
It's that job of that white girl to signal point to other people. And it's an interesting thing we live in because I want to signal blast everybody. And again, we go back to abundance economy. But sometimes even myself right now, I'm like, oh, put down the mic and give it to somebody else and let somebody else talk and let somebody else do things. And I hold on to my queerness as well, at least I'm queer. That's something I get to say because I'm a special, but I say that to everybody. We're all a special, and but I found that for me, it's important to use this weird platform I have to be hey, where do you want me to point? I'll point over there. And then I want to write things about it too, in the best way that I can. And not always include myself. That sounded so self-serving, but it's weird when you make art on your own and then you want to it's just the world's going to be better if everybody's on an equal playing field, or at least the constant, relentless pursuit of it. Your world is going to be better because we all hold on to this fear that we need to live in this I can't even say the word.
I don't even know what word you're trying to say.
Meritocracy. Meritocracy. He's asleep.
Libor's paying attention, but
I'm joking.
Our studio engineer, our studio manager just shrugged I don't fucking know.
Meritocracy.
Meritocracy.
That you know what I mean? Oh, you work hard and you get, and if you don't work hard, you don't get it. And you would have gotten what this person got if you worked hard enough, but that's not the way it works. Like,
no. And also, yes, I agree with everything you're saying. And it's incredibly important to use your privilege if you have privilege and a platform, and obviously
it's too
feel
much power
aligned.
to just sit around like, what the fuck am I gonna do with all the a million people that follow me? Like, cool. Here, you guys talk to that. Like, you want that because I'm not cool on my own. Like, you're only.
I disagree.
Well, meaning like I
know what you mean.
It's reflecting. Yes. It's reflecting other people. Yes. It's all refractions of each other. You know what I mean? So whatever someone finds, whenever I find something cool and somebody else, I have to remind myself like, that's what you see in you, and it's all those refractions. You know?
Is. Yeah, it is.
And we can't, and especially in the world we live in now, where everybody just loves Black culture so much.
Yes,
and everybody loves. Latinx culture, Asian culture. We love the culture. Like, you love the people. So do the work to love the people if you haven't gotten yourself there. And that goes to me and everybody on a moment-to-moment basis. This is not like I got a fucking certificate because I took one, anti-racism theater course. And I have to remind myself of that, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get an award. The award that is the constant pursuit of this weeding of this garden we have that gets these bullshit ideas that we're somehow special.
Absolutely. And that's how I'm literally ending it, because what else can I, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out with me.
I don't know what happened. I'm like, what would we say?
No, we had so much fun. I just, it's nice to talk to, I feel like, obviously, it's rare that I get to sit down with like another queer femme. I have a ton of friends that are queer. Obviously, it's where I feel the safest within my queer relationships, and I feel the most seen and loved. But I don't have a lot of friends that are femmes. Most of them are very masc, because that's what I'm attracted to, and I just love to be, but also femmes very attracted to. But yeah, it's just nice. I've had so much fun.
Yeah, I did too.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me.
And where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Vangsness. Just figure out how to say my last name.
Vangsness.
You got to figure out how to spell it, because it's phonetic, if that helps. And Instagram at Kirsten Vangsness, and KirstenVangsness.com has all of the Kirsten's agenda and whatnot on it.
And
the Blinking Owl Distillery is theblinkingowldistillery.com.
And what about Theater of Note?
Theater of Note is theaterofnote.com.
There you go. Anything else that you...
Oh gosh, so much pressure. Oh, I executive produced a play that was a play, and then it became a movie, and I spent $1 million of my own money, not on strippers and cocaine, but on making a movie in New York, in LA. I made a Los Angeles period piece with like the most amazing costumes, and we Taft-Hartley'd everybody. I made everybody union. Everybody made a living wage on the time they were doing this movie, and that's what I spent the money on. So if you watch it on iTunes, you're helping a lot of people. And it's called killmedeadly.com. And it's like a film noir spoof. It's like if Rocky Horror Picture Show and Airplane and the Maltese Falcon had a baby.
I'm watching it tonight.
It's good. It's
I can't
funny.
wait.
It's good.
And they can find it on...
I think it's on iTunes. And I think it's like if you stream it, I think it might be on Hulu still, maybe. Or you can watch, there's a TV show called Criminal Minds I'm on sometimes.
I don't know.
And I think there's reruns on like the Pet Channel.
Listen, nobody has ever heard of that show. Stop pushing it.
I know. It's okay.
Thank you again.
Oh my gosh,
I'm so glad that we're friends now. And thank you to everybody at home in your own slumber party for tuning in. And remember, if you were listening to this episode, you can also check us out on YouTube. Or if you were watching this episode, you can also listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to follow, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, and like and subscribe on YouTube. Thanks, y'all.
Bye. From me and my big naturals.